Sup nerds, today we have ShineGreymon versus Magna X DNA. I won the die roll, start off by hatching Koromon, evoing an Agu for 0, and then playing Uko for 3. Chris hatches Digimon, evos in a Vmon, and plays Kin and Davis, or Davis and Kin, whatever, for 4. I promote, trigger Uko, Scourge top 3. I add the Agu, I don't have another rookie in my hand. Then I hatch another Korra, evo in an Agu. And then go gambling, evo and a Geo for 2, trigger effects, and we do hit 1. Play out the BT12 Marcus, and choke Chris to 1. He promotes, triggers Davis and Ken, plays Wormon for free, Scourges top 3. Minimum value. Adds the XVmon. Evos an XV for 2, triggers Davis and Ken, gains memory. Then evos into Togemogumon for 2, and then triggers end of turn to DNA. DNA is into Paodramon, gains memory, and then suspends both, and stuns my board for the turn. I promote, trigger Uko, Scourge top 3 again. I add the ShineGreymon. Hatch another Koro. I go ahead and pay 1 for Marcus. Evo and Agu for 0. I swing on him, draw from Agu, trigger Marcus effect. Evo and Arise for free. And actually messed this turn up. I was doing math to see if I could kill the Paodramon, because I could have killed the Paodramon. It would have forced him to play out his 2 level 4s, but sadly we just messed it up. So trigger Rise. And this is where I mess up. I play the Marcus first. Tap it, minus him by 3, gain a memory. And then 3k, 1 check. I draw from double Koro, and then Marcus dies and recovers an insecurity from the Rise effect. Then Evo and Rise X for 1, trigger Rise X, play Marcus, minus him by another 4k. So he's minus 7. But if I just played the BT12 Marcus out first and the BT13 Marcus out second, I could have procced my Geogray inheritable on that suspension, and it would have blown up the Paodramon after the DP put him to 2k. It would have made him partition. If he has another Paodramon in his hand, it probably would have been worse for me to do that. I mean, it's pretty early in the game. He's only seen 1 search, so there's not a guarantee he'd have one in his hand. Ideally, I would want to pop it here just to force him to have another Paodramon. Because if he has Magnamon on his turn, he just goes into Magna, and then I'm forced to just play around it for the rest of the game. And I just Evo and a Geo for 2. He hatches Demi V. Eva's in a Vmon. So Chris confirms my Rise X is only 8k, swings over it, and I tell him I deliberately left my Agumon unsuspended so he wouldn't be able to unsuspend on his turn with his Paodramon effect. Chris thinks that if he targets something that's already suspended, he can unsuspend, but I tell him to read his cards. And he does. Yeah, so he just swings over my Rise X, Sag. I would have had that Rise X if, because I don't think he has another Paodramon in his hand. Would have been so far ahead here, Sag. Eva's an XV and raising for 2. And right now he's digging for Magna X. He hasn't seen one yet, thankfully. And then he just hard passes here. Let's go. I promote Geo, trigger Uko, Scourge top 3. Add the Agu. Hatch Koro. Gain a memory from Geo. And then pay it back to have Marcus be treated as also a Digimon for the turn. Evo and Agun raising for 0. And I'm pretty sure I can lethal him on this turn, based on what's in my hand already. So, I Evo and a Rise for 3. Trigger Rise effect, playing Marcus for free. Alright, so I swing with Marcus, trigger my Geo and my Agu to draw 2 cards, and then trigger Marcus effect. Buckle up, there are several Chets on this turn. Evo into Shine, minus his Paodramon by 9k, so it forces partition. He plays out the XV and the Togemogu. And now my Marcus is 15k effective for 2 checks. On the first check, which is one of his Magna X's that he hasn't seen yet, I should be drawing 2 cards for my double Koromon, so that's Chet number 1. Second check, another Magna X, lol. I swing here. His Togemogumon should strip the top source of one of my Digimon. So that is the second Chet, and also it should stun one of my Digimon with no sources. So in this situation, he could strip the Agumon and then stun that, but the best thing to do would be strip the ShineGreymon inheritable and then stun the Ukomon, because that limits me to one check with the Shine, and then the Agumon can swing for an additional security, but his Togomogumon is 5k with blocker, so like obviously I wouldn't swing there. But he doesn't strip the sources, so we get 2 checks in, and then he forgets about the Togomogumon effect. I do as well. We both forgot that it had blocker, and I do swing for game because he doesn't stun my stuff, and we forget that it has blocker. Having said that, I do have a Ruin Mode in my hand, so even if he does do that, I just Evo into Ruin Mode for 4 to pass turn, and then he just locked out of his turn, and I just went on my next turn. So we do take game 1. By the way, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And if you're interested in either one of these deck profiles, links for them will be in the pinned comment below. And if you're interested in joining the community Discord, link for that will also be in the pinned comment below. Alright, so Chris chooses to go first for game 2. Makes sense. Hatches Demi V, Evos into Wormmon. And then plays Davis and Ken for 4, Sag. I hatch Koro, even Agu for 0. And then play Marcus for 5 to choke him to 1. He stays in Raising, Evos and XV for 2, and then I go to 3 for Marcus. At this point, I'm considering promoting and getting a little aggro, because I haven't seen a level 4 yet, or any kind of search power, so like, I'm thinking about promoting, and then Evoing into that rookie in my hand on the next turn to dig deeper into my deck. In hindsight, I should have done that to dig deeper into my deck quicker, but I was afraid of giving him too much memory, because I would have been forced to give him like 3 or 4 memory if I had done that play. And so I'd rather just choke him to 1, so I stay in Raising, and play Marcus to choke him to 1. Turns out he actually wasn't set up to pop off on me, so I probably should have done that, but I mean, hindsight's 20/20. So he stays in Raising, plays Davis, and then adds Digimon and Pyodramon. I promote, gain a memory, play Agu for 3, trigger Agu, make the memory setting Marcus a Digimon, swing, gain a memory, 3k, 1 check, draw from Koro. Well, I'll draw from Koro after the... Okay. He gets to play another Davis and Ken for free off of the Primo effect, and then I draw from Koro. Then I swing with Agu. It dies. And then I just play another Marcus for 3 to set him to his 3. He promotes X Vmon, triggers Davis and Ken, plays Vmon. Evos into Ligdramon for 1 memory. I don't know why Chris did that. He tapped Davis and Ken. I mean, I guess it ultimately doesn't matter because I don't have any sources. But he gains memory back. The Ligdramon should should suspend my Agumon, but it's not going to matter here. Because he DNAs into Pyodramon. Gains 1 from XV, gains another from Davis and Ken. Suspends my Agumon and stuns my board. Swing security, draws from Vmon, unsuspends, survives. Swings over my Agu. We have another Chet here. He should draw another card from that Vmon. It's not once per turn. Plays Wormmon for 3. Scourges top 3. He's looking for a Magna X. Once again, he hasn't seen one yet. He adds the Ligdramon. Plays the Spark. Goes to 3. Plays Vmon. Scourges top 3. Still no Magnamon X. We take those. Adds Ligdramon and Davis. And then plays the Davis for 4. Still digging for it. Uh-oh. Adds Magnex and Paladin mode. Unfort. I hatch Koro. Evo and Agu. And at this point, like, he has lethal on his board, and I needed to do something about that. Like, even without the Magnex, which obviously he can just go into on his turn. So I play Agu, make one of my Marcuses a Digimon, swing security, minus 3k on the Vmon, gain a memory. He dies to the check. So that's 2 of his Magnexes are in security again this game. And then I just hard pass. And he just goes to 3. Hatches Demi V. Triggers 1 Davis and Ken. Plays Wormmon. Scourges top 3. Adds the Wormmon. Bypasses the second Davis and Ken. Evos into Ligdramon for 3 memory. Suspends the Agu. Swings with Pyodramon, unsuspends, and draws a card from Vmon. Has jamming, so it survives. Swings again, draws another card, survives. And then, really unfortunate, HPDs, suspends the Wormmon, Evos into Magnex for free, Taps double Davis and Kin, gains 2 memory, triggers his effect, unsuspends, gains 3k, swings, draws from Vmon, unsuspends, swings again, and swings for game with Elijahmon. I tell him he should have swung with Elijahmon first to prevent removal from just keeping him from killing me that turn. I'm not playing removal that would have killed the Elijahmon, but if I were, I could have potentially saved myself that turn. But Chris does take game 2. So I choose to go first for game 3, hatch Koromon. Evo and Agu for 1 memory to choke him to 1. He hatches Demi V. Evo's in a V. And the only reason I actually chose to go first is to keep him from going first. I actually would prefer to go second with this deck. So he plays Davis and Kin on his first turn of the game for the 3rd consecutive game. Very cool. I stay in raising Evo and a Geo for 2. Yeah, and I still haven't seen any of my tamers, which it's still early, but... So I either have to hard pass, hard play level 5, or Evo into Rise X my raising area and give him 3 memory. I take the lesser of all of the evils, I guess. Evo into Rise X, set him to 3. He promotes, triggers Davis and Kin. Plays Vmon, Scourges top 3, adds Elijahmon. Evo's an Elijahmon for 1 memory. Evo's in a Togemogu for 3, triggers end of turn to DNA. Evo's into Pyodramon, taps Davis and Kin, gains memory, swings security, draws 1 from Vmon, unsuspends from Pyodramon. Surprised he was so gallivantly swinging at my security because he does not have jamming. He thankfully survived that check though. Evo's in a Magnex for 4, triggers his effect. Now I need to do something about that. So I haven't seen one of my tamers. I just play Agu, and then Evo in a Geo, hoping to rip 1. Sag. Choke him to 1. He hatches Demi V, triggers Davis and Kin. Plays Wormmon, triggers Wormmon effects. Adds a Magna X. Evo's in a Vmon and raising. Swing security, draws from Vmon, survives a check, unsuspends, triggers the effect, swings again, draws from Vmon, survives, and Evo's in Elijahmon and raising for 2 to choke me to 1. I still haven't seen a Marcus, not even in security yet, unfort. Once this deck establishes a Magna X, it's kind of challenging to answer it. Basically just have to go around it, and in order to do that, you have to have Marcus's set up. Evo and Rise X, trigger Rise X, finally saw a tamer, a little late. Play the Marcus, set him to 3. He promotes, triggers Davis and Kin, plays Wormmon, Wormmon Scourges X Vmon, and I remind him that his Wormmon should go back to his hand, because he played that for free. Something funny here is Chris was like, man, are you playing level 6 aces? I actually did consider playing Valk as a one of in my list. However, it just didn't make the cut because it would just hurt consistency as far as like trying to OTK your opponent. But he does consider playing around level 6 aces on this turn, which I commend him for. He was an XV for 2. DNAs into Pyodramon. Gains memory from XV, taps Davis and Kin, strips all my sources, gains another memory. Swing security with jamming, draws from Vmon, unsuspends. He checks the Marcus, I tap it, minus 3k on his Pyodramon, gain a memory. He triggers the Magna X and then swings with it. And once again, it's in the wrong order. Just for those of you that thinking about building that deck, if you ever have a Magna X that's immune, and you're trying to lethal your opponent, you swing with whatever is not immune, because that way you don't get blown out by security bombs. Like, obviously, if he has another Pyodramon in his hand, his partition would save him there, because if I try to kill the Pyodramon, he'll just partition out his 2 level 4s and then DNA again. But just playing optimally, you would want to swing with the Pyodramon first here, after the Magna X is immune, and then it doesn't matter what their security is unless it just pulls turn, or keeps the player from attacking for game or whatever. Like, it's guaranteed lethal. So he swings here. Yeah. But Chris does take the match 2-1. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy seeing this kind of content. Want to come back for more. But until next time, see ya.